I'm a stay-at-home mom of two, a wife to my high school sweetheart, and a current nursing student and hopes to become an RN in the next few years. My name is Valerie, and I am a miraculous mama.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Miraculous Mamas podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Joy, and we are so happy that you are joining us here today. I have two guests on today that I'm excited to tell you about. But for those of you just tuning in, Miraculous Mamas is a podcast that believes in empowering women through storytelling and education. It's so important for us to share our stories. It's what brings us together in community and makes us feel a lot less alone in whatever situation that we're in. I know that the majority of the people listening are trying to conceive or pregnant, new moms, or even have kids a little bit older and dealing with things that come up during parenting. And there's so many different seasons, and we have women on all different walks of life a part of this. And it's so nice to hear the stories of women who have gone before us or even after us, giving us really good advice. And then the educators that come on to help us just be the best versions of ourselves. If you guys aren't subscribed to the podcast and you're listening, just hit that subscribe button and don't forget to share it with somebody that you know could love it, be a part of our community, who would get something out of it. And also, don't forget to follow us on the Miraculous Mamas Instagram page and to join our community in our Facebook group. So, as I said, we have two different guests on today. The first one is Amy Klein with Give Her Courage. And I just wanted her to come on to share what their company is doing. It's an amazing company, and it's for teens or just girls in that phase of life between junior high, high school, and what they're doing and what they're offering, not only to the teens, but to the moms, is absolutely amazing. So she's going to come on quick and share what they're doing with their company. And then I have Chelsea Axe coming on. I know you guys heard from her husband, Dr. Axe, back in December. Well, Chelsea's on, and she is pregnant. So Dr. Chelsea Axe is pregnant, and she's going to talk to us about natural family planning. It's something I had heard a lot about, and I guess I hadn't really talked to somebody who had used it and had a lot of knowledge behind it. And she shares their story with it, how they used it to prevent pregnancy and then to plan pregnancy. And then she addresses a few other things for us, such as taking collagen and just different supplements if they're safe during pregnancy, and what they can do, how to stay healthy during pregnancy with the different food cravings in that first trimester with nausea and all the things that come up, and also keeping our family healthy. This has been the worst flu season that the United States has ever seen, and people are dropping like flies out there. So the health does begin at home. Keeping yourself and your family healthy is so important. And then we touch on a little bit just using clean products during pregnancy. So a great episode for you guys today. We're going to start off with Amy talking with us, and then we will get into Chelsea. I have Amy Klein here. She is a CEO and co-founder of Give Her Courage. Give Her Courage is a retail and educational company with a mission to instill strong, smart, and bold girls, which we need more of in the world, from the start, and to grow a movement of women lifting each other up for a better future, which is so important. I love what you guys are doing. So thank you so much for coming on, Amy, and talking with us about this.
So much. I'm so happy to be here. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, of course. I'm so glad that you took the time to come on. I would love for you to tell us how you started Give Her Courage, what it really is.
Yeah, of course. Well, I think you did a great job of recapping what our company is. But, Give Her Courage in general, it's both educational and retail. And the mission, just like you said, it's really to instill courage and confidence in our girls from the start so that they can be whatever they want in this world. And we'll talk a little bit about that, kind of how we got started and why that mission. And then really just you hit on that pretty well too, is just to create more momentum and a movement of women supporting women, because, we rise by lifting each other up. So those are our missions of the company. It's both educational and retail. So on the educational side, we have children's books that we wrote for girls. One, Just Be You, which is out right now. It's teaching girls all about how to embrace their imperfections and love themselves and who they are, and also support their friends as well. We have Be Daring Darling coming out this spring, and then Perfectly Imperfect, which comes out in the summer. Again, Be Daring Darling is teaching girls to take risks, calculated risks, I should say.
Yeah.
And Perfectly Imperfect is really just embracing who you are and loving yourself and self-worth. So we also have the Courage Club, which we just launched about 2 months ago, which we're most excited about. It's for girls ages 8 to 13, and it's really a learning made fun community on Facebook. It's a private group, and every month we have a topic of the month. We did safe social media. We just did bullying. Next is self-worth. We have a bunch of different topics that we cover for girls in that age range, and it's really nice because we bring on celebrities their age. Mm-hmm. And they'll cover the topic themselves too. So we'll interview them. So it's nice for moms who have daughters, and it's one thing to hear it from us, right? But it's another thing when they're hearing it from somebody who's doing it, whether it be an activist, an entrepreneur, an actress, a sports star, whoever she is in the celebrity world that they can relate to in terms of the age, and tackle the topic with us. We bring on experts. They do little Zoom calls together, so they build this friendship, and it's a super great community. So that's our educational side. The retail side, of course, we have the Courage Collection, which is so nice for both women and girls. 10% of all we do goes to making sure all kids get their fair shot. And we have really cute, adorable leisure wear for women and girls, jewelry and apparel. But to answer your question, how we got started, Kelly and I are both moms of daughters, and have been in the corporate world. And, unfortunately, Kelly has her own story. I'll let her tell her own story. But for me, I could say personally, I never really had a good woman mentor. Anyone who has helped me in my career has been a man. And I always found that unfortunate, that I felt like I was compete, I couldn't, I would hold back from telling someone above me or a woman above me anything, because it felt like this competition instead of, all of us can be here at the top. There doesn't need to just be one out of everyone. So when I was pregnant, Kelly already had a daughter who was 5. I have a son too, as well, her age, and I was pregnant with my daughter. And we were talking about it, and, she has also her own, she's an entrepreneur as well. She helps businesses become, multi-million-dollar businesses. She's a business coach, but she was in the corporate world for a long time and felt the same way. And what it came down to for us was just really the fact that we felt that this foundation needed to happen from the start. Right? When girls don't have courage and confidence in themselves, it's the number 2 most important things girls can have at a young age. Then this is what the cycle is. What happens, right? It's girls competing. It's girls being mean to each other. It's girls not coming together and celebrating each other. It's girls not taking these risks. It's speaking up for themselves, trying to go for the promotion. So all of that. All of those insecurities and things that happen after are because they didn't have a foundation of courage and confidence. And if they did, we could stop this. So that's where we started, and that we started with our book and then our children's books for girls. We felt there was no resources really for girls out there at a young age and to help moms with their daughters. Mm-hmm. So Courage Club stemmed from that. Our book stemmed from that. And then we started our Courage Collection too on the apparel and jewelry side.
Yeah, that's awesome what you guys are doing. I would like to take a second to share some information about one of our favorite partners, March of Dimes, who I'm very happy to be partnering with. The March of Dimes leads the fight for the health of all moms and babies. Each year, they partner with the U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention to generate awareness among women of childbearing age, families, and healthcare providers about actions they can take to help prevent birth defects. They support research, lead programs, and provide education and advocacy so that every baby can have the best possible start in life. This is a fantastic organization. They have so much helpful information available, so please take time to go find out more about their work by going to the marchofdimes.org/mamas. That's marchofdimes.org/mamas. You can also follow the hashtag best for you, best for baby on social media. That's with the number 4, best number 4, YOU, best number 4, baby. Again, they have lots of useful information, so please go and check that out. Now back to the episode. I feel like, especially during that age, and it grows into as we get older, you kind of long for that sense of community. Like, you know, as an 8-9-year-old girl, you want to be accepted. You want to be a part of something. I know for myself, I always wanted to be a part of something bigger than myself. And this is giving them an outlet and a community and a safe place to be able to learn and do that.
Yep, 100%. And that's what we wanted. Yeah. And it's a really good point that a good point you mentioned too, is the acceptance part. I think sometimes what happens is, and we actually interviewed one of the moms who's in the Courage Club too for her daughter. She has 3 very different daughters, is that, you know, when you can remove yourself, you're in a group of girls, right? And you're struggling. Maybe something happened with a friend in the group or what, you can't really talk. It's hard to talk about it in the group because everyone's biased to what's going on. But with the Courage Club, these girls are all over the country and they're doing Zoom calls with each other on positive topics, right? Mm-hmm. What we want them focused on, things that they need to know more about, but they're building bonds with each other that if maybe, you know, one of them needed to talk about something that was happening to her at school, she's now talking to a friend. Maybe she lives in New Jersey and her friend lives in, I don't know, New Mexico. From the Courage Club, she can talk to her from an unbiased perspective, right? She doesn't have to worry about it being gossip and it getting back to the friend. And I just think it creates like this positive community with each other and a positive outlet for these girls as well.
Yeah, which is definitely needed because you hear, especially with, I guess, social media can be an amazing place to bring community together, but it also brings up a lot of competitiveness and comparing. Yes. and bullying. And that's one of the number one ways that girls bully is social bullying. And when they leave school, if they're on social media, they can't really get away from it now. And it's so hard because, you know, so many kids are, I guess, in that social world. And it's like, how do you help these young women to be champions of each other and not fall into that comparison trap?
So it's true what you were saying. We just covered social media or bullying. And we had on a couple stars. We had Jillian Spader. She plays Bailey in Walk the Prank on Nickelodeon in their age group. And she was just so insightful for a girl her age. But she was saying, you know, the biggest thing is what we talked about in the beginning is a lot of times I don't even think they realize they are being bullied because there's so many different ways of being bullied, right? There's cyberbullying, but there's like relational bullying. Like you could hold a friendship on somebody and someone doesn't even realize, a girl, she might not even realize that is bullying, right? Like, oh, I'm not going to be your friend if I do that. So it was also just recognizing what bullying is and then immediately calling it out, talking to a trusted source about it so that, because I think what happens is if you can almost like nip it in the bud at the beginning, it's so much better by bringing it out versus down the line, because then it's almost like the girls feel it's too late, right? Mm-hmm. So we were talking about that. And also to your point, like with the comparison and stuff, it's another thing is talking about how social media, you can use it to your benefit, but it's also such a mean place, right? Because anyone can say what they want, and then you're comparing yourself to somebody else's filter or God knows what. And it's really kind of bringing back, making, you know, just creating sort of a perspective of what's real and what's not, and what you, with your own self-worth, will accept on your account. Because Jillian was saying that her account is so positive, and she's an actress, and you know they get beat up all the time. And she was saying, I do not accept negativity. I don't care how many, you know, followers I end up with. If I have to delete comments with the algorithm, I just don't accept it. Mm-hmm. So I love that. I mean, so important.
Yeah, yeah, and it's something to start teaching these young women, because it does carry into your adult life. And when you've been comparing yourself what feels like almost your whole life, you know, from the time you're 8 till you're 18 till you're 28 and you're a mom, and it just, your life is never as good as the person's that you're looking at, or your, you know, your worth is measured into what you watch on TV, the people that you look up to, or whatever it is. And so instilling that mindset at a young age and giving these girls resources is awesome, because hopefully that carries into their next chapters, into their dating life, into their, you know, if they get married, into college, into their career, into motherhood. And I think that kind of is the hope of your company.
It is. It's exactly that.
Yeah. And I know that there is like a paradigm that kind of comes with aging, and there, I would love for you to kind of talk about that, because I was reading online how, you know, you've committed your life's work to helping women know their worth and breaking the paradigm that comes with age. And I would love for you to kind of touch on that a little bit.
Well, so when we speak about breaking the paradigm that comes with age, I think, you know, and it goes back to some people, I think innately just have more courage and confidence in themselves. I could say to myself, I feel like I was blessed with that. And I think sometimes it takes through experience, right? So once you get to a certain age, you stop kind of caring what people think. You also can, through experience, develop confidence, because different experiences have put you in a position to realize, you know what, I can do this. I am confident in it. And so when we say that, I don't want it to be for somebody in their late 20s, their 30s, their 40s, their 50s, their 60s. I want these girls at as young as 8 to 13 to have that solid, I am confident in who I am. I love myself for who I am and all my imperfections. And, you know, I have courage in myself to be what I want to do. And I think if we just break that at an earlier age, it'll break the cycle of what we see happening later, right? With women not supporting women in career positions and, you know, things down the road.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that I see a lot of that now, which is really cool. There are tons of movements out there of supporting each other. And I just think that, I don't know, any movement that does that is just awesome, because I don't know what it is about the comparison and the competitiveness, but it's like there's enough for everyone to go around. And there's, you know, like you being successful does not downplay my success.
No.
Or you being successful doesn't change my vision, my mission, my life's work, what I'm doing, even if we're doing the same thing. Like, that's awesome. You do that, I'm going to do it too. And we're going to impact so many people together. Like, even if we're, you know, competitive businesses or whatever it may be, you can still be like, wow, that person's changing lives, or wow, that person found a community in them. And that's awesome that they found that place. Like, I'm going to find my people. I'm going to find the people that, you know, it's, I don't know. There's nothing good that can come from being mad at somebody else's success.
And jealous.
Yeah, and jealous, and being like, oh, you got this saying, and I didn't.
Yeah, it's the saying that comparison is the thief of joy.
It is.
And I think for women, what I've seen, and I think why Kelly and I really wanted to take a stance, is that, you know, and I'm so happy that we're seeing so much more of this today, but I felt like we were getting away from, you know, there's different things that are going on between men and women, but I wanted to take it back to women, like what we can be doing for each other, because there's so much happening just in our own gender, right? With women being jealous and catty and mean, and really it's just what you said, right? You're in your own race. You can do anything you want to do, or whatever someone else is doing too. There's room for everybody. And when you support someone, it's just, you're living, I don't know, you're going to be a happier person too, when you're just worried about, you know, what you're doing, and not so much like, oh, well, they have this, or they have that, and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's face it, it's March, and that means that most people have already given up on their New Year's resolutions by now. 10% of people actually stick to them. But this is where Perfect Bars refrigerated protein bars come into handy, because they are a nutritious snack and they will keep you happy from the inside out, no matter what your resolution is, and it makes it easier to stay a little bit healthier this year. The Perfect Bar is the original refrigerated protein bar. Yes, it is refrigerated because it has fresh ingredients in it, and it means that they're free from chemical preservatives and they're stored in the fridge for optimal taste and texture. They're made with freshly ground nut butter and an organic honey and up to 17 grams of whole food protein and 20 organic superfoods. And they have a cookie dough-like texture that is unlike any other protein bar that you've ever had. They have a wide variety of flavors. My favorite is the coconut peanut butter one. And just because they're stored in the fridge doesn't mean that they can't be taken on the go. They're perfect for long days or running errands. For me, I take them. I've been so busy with births at the hospital lately. I had 3 within the last week, and I always make sure that I throw 1 or 2 perfect bars in my bag. I don't really have time to eat. I was at a birth for 9 hours the other day, and I ate 2 perfect bars, but they have protein in them. They have, just nutrient dense ingredients. So it definitely helped hold me over and give me a little bit of energy to continue working. And you guys know that they stay fresh for up to 1 week out of the fridge. Also, you guys know that we love their perfect kid snacks. My nieces and nephews actually think that they are dessert, and they have up to 8 superfoods in them. They're all non-GMO, project verified, gluten-free, soy-free, kosher with a low GI. And right now, Perfect Bar is offering 15% off your online order. So just go to perfectbar.com/mamas15. Shop their refrigerated snacks at perfectbar.com/mamas15 today to get 15% off your order. We want you to be seasonally prepared. Go to perfectbar.com/mamas15 to stock up and save 15%. Now back to the episode. I know we're talking about kind of bringing up the younger generation, but what I've seen so much working, in the doula field and with moms is there's so much comparison with motherhood. And
that was the worst.
Yeah. And I feel like that's where you need, it does take a village to raise a family. It truly, truly does. Like finding that community or a couple of people who uplift you in that time is so important, but also acknowledging like your parenting choices might not be my parenting choices, and that's okay. We're both doing the best that we can for our families and doing what we believe is right. And I think that is so important.
Yeah. And that's a good point, because that's kind of when Kelly and I started this, I was on my second baby. I find it to be such a shame that women don't want to say, oh, I'm doing my baby gets formula, or my baby gets this, or my baby sleeps in my bed, whatever the heck it is, close to sleep. It's that judgment. Let everybody do what works for their family and makes them happy. As long as they love their child and their family, they're going to be there. That's what's best for them. And that is definitely, to your point, bringing that was one of, besides career moves and seeing it with women, that was another time where I was like, wow, this is so sad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is. I do see it. And I'm super, super grateful for the Facebook community that we have with the podcast, because those women are so supportive of each other. And it's been really cool, because I was talking to one of the moderators the other day, and we were just talking about how we don't really have problems in our group and how blessed we are, because some mommy groups get really nasty, and we'll have people who ask questions that, not everyone agrees with the choice that they're making. And they'll just be like, hey, for those of you who are, let's say, co-sleeping, I need some advice. Or for those of you that are doing this one thing, like, I'm not asking for any opinions outside of that. I just want to know, what are your tips for this? And they're so supportive of each other.
This is what I need help with. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And I just feel so blessed with that, because they really are awesome. And there just needs to be more of that, like across the board, and in young kids. Going through puberty is such a crazy time. I know for me, I was this scrawny, dangly kid, and then I hit puberty, and all of a sudden I was curvy. I outgrew my older sister. I couldn't fit in her jeans anymore because I'm curvier than she is. And it was just such an awkward time. And I think it could be so beneficial to have that community to lean on.
I completely agree.
Yeah. Yeah. It's so important to have communities. And I think that then there's the positive of the social, side, is that your girls who are part of the Give Her Courage community, they can have relationships with people all over who are in similar boats, or, have a girlfriend across the states who she can reach out to and talk to. And sometimes that's nice too, like having somebody who's not that close to the situation, but close enough to you to have your back and give you advice.
It's similar to your mommy community, right? Because these moms, I assume, are everywhere and all over. And it's almost like they're not in the same group. They're in the same school. Everything that they're doing is the same people, right? I think it just makes it easier to have a bigger group that's spread out. So it's almost an outlet for them.
Oh yeah, for sure. I would love for you just to tell us a little bit about what the Courage Club is.
It's it's targeted more for girls 8 to 13, about that age group. And as I said before, it's a learning made fun community. So what they do, it's a monthly subscription. You pay for the year, but you can pay on a monthly basis. And what comes with it is it's a subscription to our private Facebook community group and our private YouTube. And each month, the girls get a interview with a celebrity. We have a topic of the month, as I said. So, and we're talking about all, relevant topics that are happening in their world. So we get a celebrity, whether it be celebrity that they know, whether it be an activist, an entrepreneur, an actress, a sports star. She comes on and we interview her on that topic, and the girls come on live with her and they can ask her questions. And we also have something for the moms too. So each month, whatever the topic is, as we were saying, safe social media, we'll bring on an expert in that field and we'll interview them for the moms. So it's for the moms to equip themselves with the topic, and then it's for the girls to get, some advice from a girl that they may look up to in their age group. And then we do a Zoom call every month. It's just the girls. They come on from wherever they are in the country, and they talk about they do a courage or confidence challenge. They talk about the topic of the month. It's super cute. And then on top of that, each month they get in the mail to their doorstep something from our Courage collection. So they'll get a piece of jewelry or a piece of, this month I think the girls are all getting our little lightning bolt leggings or the duffel bag or whatever it might be from the Courage collection for girls. So it's a wonderful, wonderful place if you're looking for, especially a gift in the holidays that isn't, some other toy or junk, that's learning, made fun, where your daughter is going to like it. And I think for mom and daughter, it's also bonding too, because you get to watch these lives together. And mom can kind of hear what the celebrity her age is saying about the topic, which is more relatable to the daughter. Mm-hmm. But then mom can also get more information from the expert in the field too on there. So it's just a great membership, and we're doing really big things with it. So if you are, if you're looking for Courage Club or even our Courage collection, or just want to follow us on Instagram, Kelly and I do what we call Mother Hustlers TV, and we go through a bunch of different topics. They're all pertain to moms and girls and courage and confidence, and we do women supporting women episodes. So you could check us out at Give Her Courage, or you can go to givehercourage.com to learn more about the Courage Club and our Courage collection.
Yeah. So if any of you are looking for something fun to sign your daughter up for this next year, the Courage Club would be a really cool thing to be a part of. And I think just even, again, having that, being like, when you feel like you're a part of something bigger. Yeah. Yes. You just, I don't know, it just calls you to a higher purpose and a higher standard, and you feel just adopted into another community and family. And I think at that young age, it'd be so cool to begin to be a part and feel a part of something bigger than yourself.
100%.
Yes. Well, where can people learn more? I know you just gave us the website, and is there any other place where people could reach out to you guys and connect with you and learn more about what you're doing?
Yeah. So again, I'll say go to givehercourage.com, and you can also reach out to us there if you want to contact us and send us any questions you have. It'll go to our Give Her Courage email. At Give Her Courage is our Instagram. And if you're a mom, we have a free community group called Super Moms on Instagram, on Facebook. And it's a great community as well. That's just for moms generally with women, girls age 8 to 13, but we have a ton of new moms. We have moms that have daughters in high school, and that's more. We do a lot of courage rallies there. That's our free community. We interview moms with companies that whether it be service or product that all pertain to these topics. For instance, I just interviewed someone who was a pediatric sleep specialist. We're bringing on someone next to be that's in the fashion world. She's a mom who has she dresses celebrities, and she's going to give some tips and tricks on easy pieces to just have in your closet that are last. So it's all stuff we like and that pertain to us. So they can check out Super Moms as well too.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. Yeah, you guys definitely want to follow their Instagram page. They post a lot of quotes and just kind of keep you up to date on everything that they're doing there. And it's also an opportunity to be a part of that community as well. But thank you, Amy, so much for taking the time to come and talk with me.
Great. Thank you.
Again, such a great message that Give Her Courage is spreading. Don't forget to check them out. And it's also such an amazing gift to give someone. If you have a daughter, a niece, a granddaughter, a cousin, somebody in that age range that could benefit from using the Give Her Courage program, consider signing them up or telling their parent about it, whatever it is, because it's such an amazing resource. As we've talked about before, when Katie Zeppieri came on and talked about bullying that is happening and just how the numbers are skyrocketing. And for girls, a lot of it's social bullying. So to have a place where you feel a part of something bigger than yourself and heard and seen and accepted is just so important. So it would be great if you guys just dug more into that. I'll have more information on it on our Instagram page and on our Facebook page. And if you're looking for a fun way to pass the time while engaging your brain and enjoying breathtaking visuals and a gripping story, your answer is Best Fiends. I have collected so far 10 out of the 135 different characters, and it's such a fun puzzle game. You can spend as much time or as little time in the game as you would like. I am currently on level 63, and it has been so much fun. I actually just got into a new landscape, so it's a completely different puzzle, but I got stuck on 33 for a while. For some reason, it took me forever, and 53. So I want to know what levels maybe you've got stuck on, so I feel less alone in it. But it's such a fun game. You collect characters along the way. You can upgrade them and enhance them. I like at the end of each level you pass, you get to pick prizes. Whenever I get the diamonds, for some reason, I'm super excited to collect them. But it's just a great way as an adult to engage your brain for a while and just be able to relax. I find myself just doing it when I need to pass some time, or if I'm just looking for something to do, I'll just sit down and play Best Fiends for a little while. And it really is a unique and exciting puzzle experience, unlike the other puzzle games out there. What's cool about it too is that they update the game monthly with new levels and events so that it never gets old. And it is seriously such a fun game. I love playing it, like I said, to pass the time. When I'm going to the bathroom, Vito makes fun of me because my bathroom breaks have been longer lately. But it is fun to be able to engage your brain, know that you're using it for some adult interaction, especially for you parents out there, some stimulus besides your children. But you can engage your brain with fun puzzles and collect tons of cute characters. And trust me, with over 100 million downloads, this 5-star rated mobile puzzle game is a must play. Download Best Fiends free on the Apple Store or Google Play. That's friends without the R. Best Fiends. You guys, I'm super excited to talk to Dr. Chelsea Axe. She actually, I didn't know this, she's really good friends with Sean Johnson. So they, I didn't know that. And we interviewed Sean a couple of months ago, and I guess the two families are really good friends. So she and I were chatting about that and just how she's so excited to be, in a similar place. It's so much fun when you have a friend who had a baby and you're having a baby soon and you're, on that same path of life. For me, I feel like all my siblings are done. I always wanted to have a baby with my sister, but missed that boat by a few years. Or even my friends, I still have some friends having kids, which is super exciting, but it's always fun to have someone to go through that with. But Chelsea dives into pregnancy and health and just some tips and tricks that we can do to stay to stay healthy during pregnancy. And yeah, I'm super excited to learn about the natural family planning. For those of you who, haven't known maybe what to do in that season of life, and it's either condoms or birth control. And those tend to be the only two options that people consider, but natural family planning is an awesome option. For Vito and I, we just used condoms, which worked really well for us. But I know that for some people, they don't like to. So it's just another option to throw on the table. It's great to get in tune with your body as well. But yeah, Chelsea dives into a lot more stuff with us. So I'm going to go ahead and grab her and let you guys hear this awesome interview. All right, everyone, I have Dr. Chelsea Axe here, and she's going to be talking to us about natural family planning, which I'm super excited to learn about, and just some other pregnancy things. She's pregnant right now, and she shares a lot of her journey online, and I've been following along, and she just has tons of advice to give on some other things that could be beneficial during your pregnancies and other things to make it a little more smooth sailing. So we're super excited to be talking to her today. So thank you so much, Chelsea, for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be on. So as you said, I'm Dr. Chelsea Axe. I am the wife of Dr. Josh Axe. So if you've ever been to draxe.com, or I'm sure many of you have probably seen my husband on some form of supplement bottle or anything like that. I am the better half. No, I'm kidding. But so I am currently 29 weeks pregnant. I am also a doctor of chiropractic. So I have my DC. I am a certified strength and conditioning specialist. So I do a lot with fitness as well. I'm a yoga instructor, have that certification. And yeah, like you kind of just said, I have been involved a lot in the health community, in the health space of how to do things more holistically, naturally. And now being in my first pregnancy, in my third trimester, I've gotten to get my feet more wet. When you're in the process of it being you, it's always a little bit different than, when you're just researching for other people. So it's been a fun journey already, being able to see, make those changes and experience it for myself. So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited to talk to you. Yeah, so I would love for you just to kind of touch on, to start out, how you did your natural family planning, because I feel like that's one thing that kind of gets left out of the loop a bunch. Is it's hormonal birth control, and there's several different forms of that. There's condoms, and then some people have heard about like natural family planning, but it also just kind of seems like this big, daunting, scary task to take on.
Absolutely. And it's like, if you do it wrong, or because it's so unexplored, it's like, oh my gosh, you're risking potentially, getting pregnant, and that's a life-changing thing. So many people, don't want to even venture over to that side, which is understandable, So absolutely. Natural family planning. So I was very blessed in that I never was on birth control. I know you, in your recent episodes, you've talked about birth control and the hormones and, different ways that can affect your body. Obviously it can keep you from being pregnant, but also, negative side effects that can have long-term hormonally and, just other health conditions that can, predispose you to. So because of that, before my husband and I got married, he Amazoned me this book. It's called Natural Family Planning. And it was probably 3 inches thick, like just full of information. He Amazons it to my wherever I was staying, my apartment at the time. He's like, I need you to read this before we get married. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Like, this is all on me.
Yeah, right.
And again, if that's not daunting, what is? Like, read this 3-inch thick binder of how you're to not get pregnant and not use, hormones and that kind of a thing doing it. But it actually ended up being amazing because in doing it, I was able to actually learn more about my body, how it worked, and actually get more in tune, with the cyclical nature of my body. And in doing so, really kind of begin to understand more so different signs and symptoms that my body was actually giving me in the midst of this whole cyclical process that I had never really even realized were present before. I was able to, respond to it in different ways. Like even with like specific PMS symptoms beforehand. I mean, just all the things. We're taught that all these things are supposed to be normal. It's normal to have these intense cramps during your period. It's normal to, have these crazy PMS symptoms, and it's what you go through once a month. And it's not true. This isn't normal. These are actually signs that your body is, telling you and utilizing to say, hey, something is a little bit off here. But we've just kind of grown up in a society where it's like, oh, here, just take this pill. We're just going to normalize your hormones and make everything okay. And you're going to feel better, which may be the case. But if you're never addressing what was actually wrong in the first place, you're never really fixing it. Or, you take away that hormone or whatever you were taking, and you haven't fixed the issue. It's just been present and covered up for a long time. And depending on what that issue was, how long it's been there, it could have potentially, built and created other issues because your body works synergistically together, right? It's not ever just one system working on itself, which is a lot of what medicines do. It's like, here, fix this one issue. I laugh so many times hearing commercials about, taking these different drugs, and then you hear the side effect list. Right. I'm like, you may die, but your hangnail will feel awesome.
Right.
Like, yeah, it's crazy. That's what it is like. I'm like, man, okay.
Right.
I mean, it's crazy, but the body works together. So coming back, natural family planning. That was one of the big reasons why I went with the route of natural family planning, is because I just feel so strongly in being able to be in tune with your body, knowing and being present and aware enough to notice when your body is giving you signs and symptoms. So, when things are wrong, when things are going well, how your body responds to different activities or foods or different things like that. And, and natural family planning is a part of that. You can easily, again, it doesn't have to be this big daunting thing. So even though the book I got was a little daunting to look at, I will be completely honest, it was daunting for sure. It was totally worth it. And I highly recommend this book. Natural Family Planning. It's on Amazon. If you're a woman, I highly recommend. You don't have to read it cover to cover, but going through it, get a very broad understanding of what actually goes on with your hormones, with why, or how does natural family planning even work, which I'll kind of go over briefly here, just the broad spectrum level of it. But highly recommend checking out that book.
We all want to do the right thing to keep our bodies healthy in the long run. And I know that we're talking about health a lot in this podcast. So I want to talk to you real quick about an amazing vitamin. Rituals Essentials have the nutrients that most of us don't get enough of from our food, and all in their clean, absorbable forms. No shady additives or ingredients that can do more harm to your body than good. I chose to start taking Rituals honestly because I saw a bunch of people advertising them, and I'm always on the lookout for a good, healthy vitamin. And the thing that I loved about it, so I went to their website and I started researching it. On their website, they have the list of all of the ingredients and where they came from, which I love. So you can see where it was sourced, and they came from the best possible places. I've been taking them for a few months, and it's important to be able to look up your vitamins, look up the ingredients, see what's in it, and then also know that it's a company that believes in your health and wants the best for you, which was so important for me in choosing a vitamin. And Ritual is an amazing vitamin. One of my favorite things about it too is I kind of have a sensitive stomach. And when I take the Ritual vitamins, I don't get nauseous. When I've taken some other ones, I'll feel kind of nauseous. I have to almost eat a lot of food in order to take vitamins. But with Rituals, I didn't have to. I was able to just take them with breakfast and not feel sick afterwards and actually feel a little bit better. They have ingredients in there that women really need that are vital for you that I know for a fact I'm not getting enough of in my nutrition. So super excited about this vitamin. I've been loving taking it for a few months, and it's definitely something that I know that you would love taking too. From D3 to omega-3, Rituals Essentials for Women helps fill in those gaps. And again, you can take it on an empty stomach. There's even a mint tab in every bottle to keep things fresh. I've actually taken that mint tab in that bottle and put it in other pill bottles that I had because I loved the freshness of it. And you never get that fishy aftertaste that comes with other omega-3s, which is awesome. And it's delivered. A subscription is an easy start, and it's easy to hit snooze, and it's only $1 a day to have the essential nutrients that your body needs delivered every month with no strings attached, which was another reason why I love them. They're completely affordable. Better health doesn't happen overnight, you guys. And right now, Ritual is offering the listeners 10% off during your first 3 months. Fill in the gaps in your diet with Essential for Women, a small step that helps support a healthy foundation for your body. Visit ritual.com/mamas to start your Ritual today. That's 10% off during your first 3 months at ritual.com/mamas.
So, natural family planning, what that is you are actually listening and utilizing like signs in your body and using those to determine when like your fertile window is. So if you are as a woman, you have at most 5-6 max days of your cycle that you can get pregnant. And that's it. But it's being able to determine what that window is, and then obviously abstaining from sex during that time, using contraception or condom or anything like during that time, and then, outside of that time. So this can be used to either avoid getting pregnant, and it can also be used to time pregnancy, which is so my husband and I, we were married, it'll be 8 years in March. So over 7 years. Yeah, over 7 years. We've done natural family planning. We've had no, oh my gosh, am I pregnant?
Mm-hmm.
Times we've had no scares. So it's worked amazing for me.
Mm-hmm.
And then once we decided we wanted to step into, trying to get pregnant, we were able to kind of flip-flop our mindsets and say, okay, instead of not having sex during this time frame, this is when we need to have sex if we want to have, a baby. So being able to utilize it in that way too, it was just, great. Being able to, again, your body, when and the time frames. So the way you're able to do this is during your cycle. So women's bodies are totally different from men's in that our bodies are cyclical with our hormones. So on average, women's cycle is 28 days. On average, 28 days, you have a hormone estrogen, you have a hormone progesterone. The first half, so day 1 through 14, again, this is just average. Majority of women do not ovulate on day 14.
Right.
I think it's under 20% actually do.
Interesting.
Majority are completely off. So even like those apps on your phone where you say, this is when my period starts, and it gives you, oh, well, you're fertile here. That's all based on like an average. So I would not use those apps, at least to go off of if you're trying to not get pregnant. Just a heads up. I've had some friends like, well, I was using this app. I'm like, was it just an app? Like, was it like, did it know your body at all? And they're like, oh no, I just typed in whenever I had my cycle and that was it. And I'm like, okay, well, going off of averages, and that's probably not the best way to go about doing that. So, on day 14, again, the average is just first half of the cycle. Let's say that's better. First half, estrogen is high. Second half, estrogen drops, progesterone increases. You have this like yin yang through your cycle that just kind of goes back and forth. So all of a sudden estrogen rises again as progesterone drops. your body says, okay, not pregnant, start your period, get to the end of day 14, you ovulate, egg waits to be fertilized, end of that, not fertilized, estrogen comes back up, say, okay, let's shed the lining, not pregnant. And that's how, very broad, but that's how like the female body works. Men, their hormones are like straight across, and men are like, I don't understand you. You're like all up and down. It's like, yeah, I am up and down and you are not. So don't act like you know, because you don't.
Mm-hmm.
If you even knew what it was like to have hormones that went up and down and up and down and back and forth. And they don't. And that's okay. And that's amazing because it's not the way they were made, but that's the way we are. So natural family planning, what happens is when estrogen is up or increases, the change from the high progesterone to estrogen it can actually be seen in it's called the basal body temperature. What that is it's a temperature that you take first thing in the morning. It's before you get up, before you move around, before you sit up, before you drink or eat anything. Has to be like in the same time every day. It's very small incremental changes. So like when you would take your temperature, it's like to 100th degree. So very small, and you would end up charting it. And over a period of time, you would see that your temperature would go up right before you would get your cycle. And then it'll drop and then go up again a little bit as, you continue to ovulate. So based on, it'll go through this all in the book if you're ever interested in it. It's hard to talk through if you don't have a visual of, how you would actually chart and what you would look for. There's tons of resources online if you're ever interested in like what a good charting would look like. Just search, natural family planning, basal body temperature. But in doing this, in being consistent with taking your basal body temperature, you are able to see over a period of time. Now, it's not like this perfect linear graph. It's, again, it's over all the averages. And the longer you do it, the more you're able to learn how your body actually functions. But you're able to see, okay, oh, I ovulated, like based on your temperatures. And so then doing that, okay, I ovulated. That means for the next 4 or 5 days, I am fertile. So then you would abstain from sex. If you know you're about to ovulate, again, I wouldn't like jump into family planning and then that same month, put all my eggs in one basket and say, I'm going to know exactly when I ovulate and go off of that. I would, give yourself a good 3 to 4 or 5 months to get in the rhythm, figure out, what your rhythm looks like. Typically, women ovulate around the same like 3 or 4 day time period. You kind of know when, and you'll start to learn even too, feeling your body when that's about to happen. But yes, being able to say then, okay, I'm about to ovulate, or I can see in my temperature that things are shifting or things like that. And then being able to utilize that, confirm ovulation, and then abstain. And then once you've gone past that window, you're able to have sex for the rest of your cycle through your period, and you shouldn't get pregnant.
And be safe.
Again, you only have that, 5-6 day window of when you can get pregnant. I think a lot of people think it's a lot longer, and it really isn't. It's just being able to identify what that window is for you. And again, it's going to be different for everybody.
Right.
Yeah, long or short. Yeah.
But it does take getting to know your body a little bit. So it's like getting in the groove and seeing your charting cycles. I'm sure there's like a pattern that kind of you notice within yourself and getting to know yourself. So I think when it just comes to family planning, it's like it seems like so much more work than maybe doing another method.
It does. Especially hearing it this way, it sounds like it is, but all it really is you're sticking a thermometer in your mouth for 30 seconds in the morning, paying attention to what that number is, and that's it. Really, all the effort or work on your part is that, and then just knowing what the number is. And honestly, if that even scares you, there's a company. So I use actually what it's called a lady comp, LADYCOMP. And they have some other devices too, like the Daisy and the Baby Comp. But then there's other things out there, like I think Natural Cycles is one. But it will actually do the charting and everything for you. So it takes even all that guesswork out of it. So like the Lady Comp, what I have, it's this little circular device. It's like no bigger than like my entire hand with fingers outstretched. And I set it for a specific time in the morning before I would wake up. So it naturally wakes me up with just like a little beep. I roll over, I stick the thermometer in my mouth. It beeps when it's done. And I roll back over and I go to sleep. And that's it. And this little device, it's like 99.8% effective. So it's actually higher than using like contraception and everything like that. It's crazy. But this little device will then figure out all my averages based, and the longer you use it, the more it learns your own body. Right. And it'll give you a red light, a yellow light, or a green light. It just like lights up based on whatever your temperature is for that day. Red light means abstain. Green light, you should be good to go. Yellow light, proceed at your own risk.
Got it.
And literally that's it. So even that is just a way to take it a step further. Where if you don't want to deal with the guesswork of, oh my gosh, if I have to figure out what this chart looks like, what if it's off a little bit one month, and that just stresses you out, which I understand because it did for me. And that's why I went the Lady Comp route and I've used that. That's just, it's easy.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, it's nice hearing that it worked for you guys. I mean, you used it for 7.5 years or whatever, and it's like, okay, it did work. And I guess like you don't hear tons of success stories, maybe just because people aren't talking about it, or maybe they weren't like following it the way that it is meant to be. So it's nice hearing like a natural family planning story that worked for years and was successful. Yeah.
Yeah. And we've been lucky. My husband and I are both chiropractors. And so many of the friends in our circle that we know of are chiropractors as well. And they've used this as well. And all of them have seen success with it. So I can say for numerous people that I know that this has worked for them, you're consistent with it, follow through. Again, it's the same thing as, people have a little alarm on their phone to take a pill. Like you have a little alarm on your little device to roll over and take your temperature. And, you want to have sex with, they just check your light. It's a red light, use a condom, you're good to go. It really is that simple. And two, if you want, there's other things that you can add in to kind of confirm even your temperature. Like you can chart or check and pay attention to your cervical mucus, which is just, the consistency of like your discharge, which I know sounds gross and people are just like, oh my gosh, don't even want to go there. But again, it's just another way that you can learn what's going on with your body.
Yeah.
And even like understanding and seeing that will change cyclically with where you're at in your cycle. It really is actually amazing when you start paying attention. You're just like, wow, my body is awesome. It really does so many things and it's incredible. It really is. But, and I would say even for, trying to get pregnant, it's amazing for that too. I know I've had many patients that we worked with and different things where, they come off birth control and then it's like this, well, now what? Like, do I just have sex every day? Or, how do you step into the season where like getting pregnant and especially when your body's been off or if you haven't been aware, of how your body's been functioning for a while, it can be hard to all of a sudden switch over into, these are all new things. So it's just some easy tools that if you don't want to have to kind of stick to track your ovulation day, twice a day or whatever it is, these are things that you can just kind of learn that your body goes through every month. And it's pretty amazing.
Yeah. And I feel like you can never go wrong doing something that gets you more in tune with your body.
Completely. Yeah. It will only benefit you in the long run, whether that's for, knowing again, when you want to get pregnant or even being aware that something is a little bit off. And then being able to move forward and like be specific with what is off.
Mm-hmm.
I think your body, we're so used to pushing past symptoms and warning signs that our body is giving us in so many different ways, and just jumping into either not feeling it or like, let's take something to make it feel better, rather than just sitting and like asking, like, why am I even feeling this in the first place? Like all of these messages that your body is trying to tell you, like something. So it's like, what are you trying to communicate with me? So the more I think you can even be aware of that, any symptom you have, good or bad, is an actual like communication method that your body has with you. The better. It's only going to set you up for success, whether that's from even like symptoms of getting a cold. Anything, whether, pain in the joints, or, there's so many different digestive wise. It carries over into all aspects of life. The more you can increase your awareness and, be present with how you're feeling. And again, even emotionally, relationally, this carries over. How present are you? All the things. So yeah, I think it will only benefit you in the long run. The more you can, be aware and then have at least a baseline understanding for how your body works.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of like when you're not really feeling good and have different signs and symptoms, like you said, you're pregnant. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I would love to talk about pregnancy and, sometimes in the first trimester, sometimes for women throughout the entire pregnancy, you deal with a lot of different food aversions and cravings and all sorts of stuff. How do you stay healthy dealing with these hormonal changes that your body is making?
Yeah. So I will answer this question now so much differently than I would have probably like 6 months ago. 6 months. I'm so much more of the kind of suck it up type mentality. So before, without having gone through it, I've been like, you just man up and you eat healthy food, you just do it. And now actually having gone through the actual food aversions and, the nausea, and understand and I had the much less severe version of it. I was very blessed in that I did not, I threw up. I was just nauseous. So I can't even imagine you women out there who are dealing with that. You're superheroes. I can't even imagine. Go you, for real. So yes, having now been through it, I have much more grace and compassion, especially for that first try or however long the nausea and those things last. Because I know some women, they last throughout pregnancy, which, I can't even. You guys.
I know.
So how do you stay eating healthy? For me, one of the biggest things that I would say I've noticed that is carried over, and I would say this even fitness-wise, I would say it's been similar for fitness-wise and as well as eating healthy, is that I was able to build up good habits and a good mindset beforehand, in that I already had a good base for dealing with food cravings. I'm in the third try now, so I've dealt with my fair share of food cravings. But I wouldn't say they're any different necessarily than your typical food cravings, like day to day. Now, food aversions, I would say, is, the first try when you're super nauseous, it's a little bit different because it's not necessarily that you have cravings. It's more so like, this is the only thing that will help bring me out of nausea or like make me feel okay.
Right.
So that's a little bit different. Craving wise, it's like, daily life. I'm like, I want a cookie. And I'm not saying you can't have a cookie, but I think a lot of people go into pregnancy thinking, or having this expectation that they're going to have all these cravings and that they get to give into them, or that they just kind of have this license to, which you absolutely can. Just you have to take ownership for it, in that, that's what you're choosing to do. Like, you still have a choice. So I think for me, being able to have a strong foundation of already eating healthy and then also, navigating cravings on a daily basis and like what that looks like for me, again, has been super helpful. And like I said, even with fitness, a lot of people are like, how do you get motivated to, go to the gym and be active when you're pregnant? And I think the big thing is the issue is people are waiting to be motivated.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's some days you definitely are motivated where it's like, oh yeah, I'm going to do all the things and get the things done. And it's awesome. But especially in pregnancy, I found more often than not, that's not the case. And it's not a matter of listening to your body. It's just that I'm like, don't feel like it or don't want to. So being able to fall back on just consistency and good habits and discipline, even if it's just, getting up and walking for a mile, being able to move rather than like, did you ever get motivated? No, I didn't. And that's the case most of the time when I'm not motivated.
Mm-hmm.
But being able to fall again back on those habits and just that structure that I've already built of what's important to me and knowing what's going to benefit my body, I think is really key there. So that's been huge, I think, for that. Now, when I was nauseous and, not feeling well, dealing with the food cravings and the aversions, how did I, eat healthy and do the things? I mean, part of it was I was lucky in that I craved healthier things. I lived on pineapple my first trimester. That's all I wanted, pineapple and grapefruit juice.
Mm-hmm.
And, I usually drink a lot of water, and water just made me so nauseous the first try. So what I did, I would fill a water bottle, like a quarter to an eighth with grapefruit juice, and I'd fill the rest with water so that I had the taste of grapefruit juice, but I was still getting hydrated and I wasn't getting all the sugar. Different things like that. And even understanding too of, depending on what you are craving or what sounds good, is it sweet? Okay, well, let's break it down then. So your body wants something sweet. That's okay. But there's other things besides, brownies and cake and frosting and all the things that is sweet. Your body's actually probably trying to communicate with you that it needs instead. And I think that the thing is, for even putting on like healthy weight and different things, I think the more we can eat nutrient dense foods, even like the less our bodies are gonna like tell us like we even need throughout pregnancy and to eat. I know my husband says all the time, he's like, you don't eat that much more than you used to. He's like, I thought you would eat way more. I'm like, what are you saying? So funny. But yeah, I think again, going into it, if you have an opportunity, being able to develop good habits beforehand or intentionality, I think that's huge. Nausea, getting through that. I mean, know that for most of the time it is a season. Nausea, getting through that, it is a season. So if you can put your head down, just get through it best you can. Again, do your best. If you end up having a night where you splurge and whatever, that's okay. It's fine. It's not the end of the world. Do your best to continue, taking your supplements and all that. And I think too, having the mindset of, if you do, let's say you have a bad week even, or bad couple weeks where you haven't been eating well and you've just kind of gone off the deep end, not being able to throw the whole pregnancy to that then and just say, well, this pregnancy is just going to be that way. It's always an opportunity to start fresh and to, make slight, even if it's small changes. Josh and I always say, if you can even just change your breakfast, that's 33% of the main meals of the day. That's a big portion of what you're consuming. So if you can, change your breakfast to like a smoothie with fruit and coconut milk and, some protein where you're getting all these nutrient dense things that your body needs to start your day off right, you're going to be better off making better choices. And then too, even if you don't, again, that's 33% of the main meals of that day, which is a huge, percentage. Even that can make a big difference.
Yeah. Well, like you said, I mean, if you have the good habits beforehand, that's definitely beneficial. But one thing I always like to say though, is like, it's never take this information and look back, just take it and look forward. 'Cause it's never too late to start.
Absolutely. I love that. Yeah. It's never too late to start developing better habits. And, you know, regardless of when you start, even if you're in having kids or you're in the middle of your pregnancy, you know, whatever stage you are in life, again, it's only going to benefit you to start, you know, just move forward and do the best you can do. And none of us ever arrive, right? We're all on a journey and somewhere along the journey. So it's never even about getting to a specific point. It's like, are you making better choices than you did yesterday? Like, are you improving on yourself? And I think that's what it's about. So, you know, it's you comparing yourself to you in your own journey and the choices you're making. And it could be even just a mindset shift. And you're seeing improvement there. And that's amazing. You know, not having the shame or the condemnation with the food you're eating or different things like that. And I think, I mean, that's incredible in itself. And that's all part of the journey as well. So it may not be this external reality that you see right away. It may be this internal shift. I think there's so many stages to it. And we just have this, again, society these days, it's so all or nothing. They don't give us praise for like the middle, which I'm like, man, isn't that the whole point of the journey in itself is the middle?
Yeah, for sure. You've never fully arrived. I love that. You had brought up supplements. So I'd love to just kind of touch on some supplements because I know that there's our diets aren't perfect, and that's why it's important to be taking prenatal vitamins when you're trying to conceive and when you're pregnant. But there's still, you get that list of, okay, you can't have lunch meat and raw fish and obviously like alcohol, and you have your lists of things you can't eat and then things you can eat limited of. And then there's some nutrients of like, okay, make sure you're getting enough calcium, make sure that you're getting these certain foods. But there's a lot of things that aren't on that list that also could be beneficial, such as collagen and bone broth, but you don't hear much about them during pregnancy. But I know that you're huge on those two things. So I'd love for you to tell us maybe why they're important in pregnancy and why it's something that somebody listening should consider adding to their diet.
Yeah. Like actually that's one of the biggest questions I've gotten is, are you still consuming collagen and bone broth while you're pregnant? Is it safe for me to do so? And I will say that collagen and bone broth are foods. So a lot of people like kind of like put them in the supplement category, and they, you know, technically I guess they are because they're protein powders. They can be, but they're foods. So it's food that's broken down. So, like, is this food safe for you to consume? Yes, these foods are absolutely safe. So all they are is protein. So collagen is in bone broth. People kind of get them confused. Is like, what's the difference between the two? Why are they both important? And I can kind of touch on that in a sec. But so collagen obviously makes up like 20 to 30% of actually your daily protein intake, in my opinion, actually should be from collagen-rich sources, because 30% of all the protein in your body is made of collagen. So it's this big portion. And if you look at, you know, the modern American diet, we don't get collagen or collagen-rich foods in our diet on a regular basis. We're not making, you know, soups from bones and these different things like our ancestors did. Where we're utilizing, you know, the ligaments and the tendons and the things like that. And the reason this is so important is, so protein in itself, if you break down protein, you have all these little building blocks called amino acids. And when you link the building blocks together, that forms protein. So that's long story short, that's exactly what protein is. And collagen has different building blocks than other proteins available today, whether that be animal-based proteins like meats or dairy-based proteins like wheys, or even like plant-based proteins like brown rice or hemp or these different things. All of those proteins have a specific set of building blocks. And then collagen has a different set of building blocks, which again, 30% of your body is made up of collagen and needs this other specific type of building blocks. Now your body's able to produce collagen, but once you hit the age of 25, your body's ability to produce it slows down. It continues to slow down. And this can contribute to, joint pain, loss of muscle mass, aging, wrinkles, inflammation, digestive disorders. We think of like what collagen actually makes up in your body. We think of like tendons and ligaments and things, the soft tissue, but it's also like your digestive system, like your lining, the blood vessels. When you're pregnant, your placenta is made of collagen. And then you think too, in pregnancy, your body is pulling even more collagen because your baby needs collagen. Again, to be made up 30% of collagen in this soft tissue. So you need even more of these specific set of building blocks to, be able to make collagen. So these are just kind of like tools that your body can actually break down and then say, okay, we need to make collagen. Let's send it here. And then just kind of support your body in its ability to do so. So there's over 30 different types of collagen. So when you think about it, think of like a B vitamin. There isn't one type of B vitamin. Very rarely do people say, like, I'm on a B6 vitamin, unless you're pregnant. Usually it's like, I'm on a B complex, right? Because you need all, it's not just one B vitamin that you need. You need a range of all of them. They're all healthy. They all contribute to different things in your body, even though they're all Bs, right? They all have different functions. Well, the same thing with collagen. There's over 30 different types of collagen, and they all have like a specific or more unique role in your body. So taking collagen is important, but you also need to make sure it's a multi-collagen. So you're getting you're getting different types of collagen in your diet, that's important too. And a lot of people don't realize that. So, like type 5 collagen is what your placenta is made of in pregnancy. But if you look at a lot of collagens, like powders on the market today, most of them are type 2, which is like found in a lot of like chicken broth and things like that, which is incredible for your gut, digestive health, things like that. And that's actually what bone broth is primarily made out of. No, bone broth has type 2 collagen, some other types as well, in lesser amounts, but it also has some amazing other health and healing benefits, glutamine, different things for like your gut, which is incredible, so necessary, things we don't get in our diet, hyaluronic acid, different things like that. So that's why I take both. Digestive health, 80% of your immune system, I think, is in your gut. And bone broth is huge for making sure it's, whole and for healing it and different things like that. So I definitely take bone broth, but I also make sure then I add in a multi-collagen supplement, because in bone broth, you're primarily getting type 2. And I know I need, plethora of different types, just to support my body in creating collagen and doing what it needs to do. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of information. I just kind of like, bleh.
No, it's good. Yeah. And I feel like you said, we don't get that from a main source. So in pregnancy, it could definitely be an added benefit.
Yeah. I mean, when you think of it, not only are you creating another life, but that first even trimester, you're creating a whole separate organ.
Yeah.
The placenta is an actual organ. So your body is, it's working overtime, which, you feel on that first try. So the more you can, give your body the tools that it potentially would need, the better. The more you can keep your body away from a deficiency. Otherwise, your body's, here's the thing, like when you're pregnant, baby comes first and your body knows that. So your body will pull everything out of your body that baby needs, which is amazing. And it needs to do that, and it should. But sometimes if you're not, being proactive, that can cause a deficiency in you. This is just one of those ways that you can kind of counter that and set yourself up for, just success even later on. And I've noticed a huge difference in my even digestion. I know a lot of friends who just even in the hair growth, skin, hair, nails, joints, if you've ever had like joint issues, and you think about it too, as you go through pregnancy, there's a lot more pressure on your joints. Inflammation increases a lot when you're in pregnancy, or it can, and swelling and these different things. And these are just easy ways that you can add in different things, easily into your diet that support your body in, having the best case scenario in all the changes that it's going to go through. Because the changes are inevitable. Your body's going to changes. But it's just, it's how. So like, how prepared is your body? How well set up is it to go through those changes? And I think that's a big deal, or it can be a big deal, and for how women feel as their body does go through these changes is, how prepared was your body in doing it?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I would love for you to touch on, since it is still cold, I know that it's snowing in Chicago, and just this time of year, your family gets sick, and you hear people talking about this is the worst flu season that we've seen in the United States. And, but when you're pregnant, you take care of your body a little bit differently. I know for me, whenever I feel myself getting sick, it's like colloidal silver, if it's like an infection or whatever, and garlic and oregano and all this stuff. And it's like, but when you're pregnant, you can't, I'm still learning like that, like I'm trying to learn as much information about pregnancy. And I know that when it comes to herbs, you have to be so careful. And so it's like, what can you take? Like, how do you take care of your body if you're under the weather?
Yeah. And the hard thing with herbs too, it's like in many of the herbs out there, there's so much limited information and study. So it's this gray area of it's just unknown. But, something's unknown. It's like, well, you don't want to risk that.
Right.
So when you're pregnant and you are sick, I mean, I'm in the middle of cold right now, and gosh, it's hard. My husband is overcoming one as well, and he's just taking all the things, and I'm just sitting there like watching him like, I wish I could just take some of those things. And man, I mean, they help. They really do. So yes, it's hard when you're pregnant. I mean, the big, obviously you want to stay away from things that would cause a shift in hormones, which again is so many herbs and things out there. So the biggest things I focus on when I'm like, I have a cold or the flu, things in pregnancy. My husband is really big. We're big on Chinese medicine. So we kind of do and kind of follow. And so when you think about like, if you ever wondered, like, why do they call it a cold? You get a cold any time of the year. Like, why do they call it a cold? It's because it's actually addressing in Chinese medicine the internal environment of your body. So you think of like middle ground is like where your body is really good to go. But you can kind of shift and veer one way or the other, where you can go too hot or you can go too cold. You can go too damp. You can go too dry. There's this whole spectrum of different ways that you can shift. So when you have a cold, typically, again, in internal environment, you're shifting where you're cold. And typically, cold is associated with like congestion and different things like that. So you're a little bit damp. So because of that, you want to focus on, again, foods that bring you back away from being cold. So you want foods that produce heat. And then you want drying foods to kind of take that dampness out of the body or internal environment of your body. You can use different herbs when you're pregnant. You can't. It's really hard to do it with herbs. So I do it a lot with diet. So what that would look like would be, like lots of broths and soups. Because again, that's really warming. It's good for your gut. Adding in ginger, like even though ginger is like a really warming herb, some cinnamon. I'm trying to think if you would do cinnamon when you're pregnant. I haven't. That can be hormonally. I don't know if I would, but so like different things more along those lines. So you want to stay away from foods that are cold. In contrast, so everything you eat, you want it to be like, if you're doing vegetables, it should be steamed vegetables. You want to stay away from raw vegetables. You shouldn't do salads. You shouldn't be doing like cold fruits. So, obviously you want to cut out sugars because that'll increase produce like dampness in the body. So you want to do foods that are more drying. So like organic corn can be drying, different things like that. But really you want to stay away from like mucus producing foods. So you want to cut out dairy, which I think that's some, people, but yeah, in that time frame, cut out dairy. You want to cut out like bananas. Think of bananas, like the consistency of it, kind of that thick. Like even avocados is in that category as well. It's kind of got that mushy, thick, kind of mucusy. I mean, when you really think about it, when you kind of mash it, it's kind of got that consistency to it. Things along those lines actually like support your body in producing more mucus. So if you're congested, you actually want to eliminate those types of foods until you bring your body back to normal. So, just simple little shifts in your diet like that can actually help support your body in, fighting a cold. Big thing, as best you can, obviously, is sleep. Upping your vitamin C, upping vitamin D3, getting some sunlight. Again, that's a huge immune booster. Zinc can be amazing for, increasing your immune system, something you can take. And again, I wouldn't just, talk to your healthcare provider, talk to your physician before if you are sick or adding in any of these things, because everybody's different. Everybody's pregnancy is going to be different and your body's going to respond differently. So make sure it's good for you. And that's something that they would recommend that works for you, before, you go on and just start adding in all these different things. But yeah, the big thing too is, it'd be easy to, a simple fix where it's just like, boom, I feel amazing. I'm going to be, great. Take a pill again, feel good. But, your body's responding the way it needs to. It's fighting an infection. And these are outlets that your body acts like congesting, blowing your nose. It's an outlet for your body to release, bacteria, viruses, different things like that was in your body. So it's a good thing for your body to just get it out. But like even using like a neti pot, that can be great for even helping clear your sinuses. Using a humidifier when you're sleeping, making sure the air isn't too dry, that can be beneficial. I know that even for kids, keeping humidifiers in their rooms if you're dealing with cold or symptoms along those lines. But it's definitely been harder with pregnancy in dealing with a cold, especially when my husband's been, getting to take all the fun things. So, but those are just a few like little, they're not like huge, but they're switches that you can make that will again support your body in working towards balance again in a quicker way.
Yeah, for sure. I just would love for you just to touch on quick, a little bit of clean living as well. Yeah. So once having kids, I know they talk about removing certain chemicals from your home and stuff like that, but a lot of that should be done beforehand because those chemicals can affect your hormones and be hormone blockers and different things like that. But what are a couple of things that you have that you just love and use in your home?
We live and breathe by using our essential oils. We do a lot of just homemade, we save so much money even doing it too. It's really sad how much more expensive, healthier, clean stuff like typically is on the market than like your conventional toxic stuff. It's so backwards than what it should be. Right.
But you can make it at home for cost effective.
Make it at home for a fraction of the price. Absolutely. So getting a few just basic essential oils, again, making sure they're quality essential oils. They're not all created equal. I will just put that out there right now. So even that you can do that for cleaners around the house, whether that be just like your basic cleaner, like laundry soap, you can use that for. And there's tons of recipes online for like how to make it at home, and they're quick and they're easy. And again, they typically use like 3 or 4 of the same essential oils, so you don't have to go and buy like 20 of them. You can, scent it however you like. So even soaps, I know even quick circling back for like if you have a cold or anything like that, the big thing I do is I carry with me a homemade hand sanitizer using an essential oil. So anytime I'm at the grocery store, it's like pick up anything immediately, like in your hands,
Just walk in and spray around you.
all the places. On the airplanes, I feel bad for the people around me in the seats because I'm just like spraying up like my seat, tray tables, everything. Yeah, because when you're pregnant, your immune system is naturally lowered a little bit because you want your immune system fighting baby. So you got to be ready. So, but yeah, using essential oils even for that. Those are big ways. But so for like even makeup products, skincare, you can use essential oils there. But there's some great brands out there too. And the hard thing is like, and there's a ton of brands and a lot of people are like, well, what about this brand? What about this brand? I don't want to like corner you into this is the brand because there isn't, the brand. So if you go to like ewg.org, I don't know if you've heard of that international working group. They have an amazing site and even area on there called Skin Deep. You can go on there, type in a product, a brand, or an ingredient, and it will actually give you the toxicity level of that product or ingredient, which is an amazing tool just for even assessing products that you already have in your home, just to determine, where you're at toxicity level. And it's just little things that you don't even think about, like carpet cleaner. You have a little baby crawling around on your carpet, they are coming into contact with those chemicals on a daily, what could be in their face, on their hands, go to their face, could be causing allergies. Just little things that, you don't even think about, like dishwasher soap, the fumes coming out of your dishwasher when you inhale them, like that has an effect on your hormones. So it really is important. It's different things that we're not even mindful of, it's that you don't even have that mental awareness of that you even would need to make that shift. Which is good to be able to look at different things and, be aware on top of, that list of ingredients that it's absolutely stay away from these things, while you're pregnant or trying to get pregnant. But even beyond that, the United States, we've banned, I think it's like 36 ingredients right now from skincare and makeup and different things like that. And Europe is like at 1,300.
Right.
Something, crazy, which we're a little behind.
Yeah.
In that. But even thinking about that, it's like, okay, how many of those 1,300 ingredients then are in our products that they've already ascertained as being dangerous and toxic in some way? So, having those little tools where you're able to even just assess, and I know not everyone, we can't, make a switch, of everything, overnight.
Right.
Even being able to say, this is a higher level of toxicity or whatever than others, using the EWG site can be amazing for that. There's also an app, it's free, called Think Dirty. But that's another one you can do. You can scan a barcode or type in a product and kind of see toxicity level. And those are just some easy tools to use for whether that's a cleaning product, a skincare product, makeup product, can be used for all of those things. So,
yeah.
Otherwise, essential oils, I think you can make your own makeup, make your own skincare, cleaning products. They're so versatile and there's health benefits to using them too. So that's what I would recommend the route going.
Yeah. I started doing my home and I thought it would kind of be hard, and it actually wasn't. I made an all-purpose cleaner that was super easy to make, and I like the smell of it, and it's made with like 4 ingredients.
Yeah.
And I have been making my own dry shampoo for quite a while now, and
that's a good one.
Yeah, I love it. Well, and I have brown hair, so I tint it with raw cacao powder, and it smells good, and I add a little rosemary in it because it's good for your hair, and so it's just like a couple of small things. I still need to make a few more. I need to learn how to make a good toilet bowl cleaner because right now I'm still using the chemicals on that. But, and I've switched over to natural deodorant quite a while ago, but, I do feel like those things are important because when I started to get into researching, trying to conceive and preparing your body, a lot of these ingredients are endocrine blockers or have things with fragrance in it are so bad. And you don't notice that, like the hand soaps, the lotions, the perfumes, scented candles, all of this stuff has effects on your bodies, on your hormones. And the thing is, there's so many toxins in our environment, and there's so many things that are out of our control. So if you can make small changes to control what you can, why not?
Absolutely. Especially in your home, when it's your safe place, your environment, you get to decide, the level and what you're using. And, yeah, absolutely. Being able to, just being empowered to know and to make those choices for you and your family and, what that's going to look like. And I mean, yeah, gosh, you think too, even like being pregnant, it's like you want to avoid everything that would affect your hormones because your body is, doing its thing and it needs, like, look at the medical community. If they find anything wrong, while you're pregnant with baby, they really can't do anything while you're pregnant, right? They have to wait till after baby's born and these different things. It's because like your body is, it's doing exactly what it's supposed to do. It has a specific set of hormones and they're constantly changing and, again, doing what it needs to do. So anytime you add in like you said, an endocrine disruptor or something that would mimic a hormone into your body will respond hormonally to that as if it, your body created it. And that's what we don't want. We want our bodies to do what it needs to do, what it, was already programmed to do with a baby, not something that we're kind of manipulating with this outside source of, what looks like hormones just because it smells a specific way.
Right.
Or different things. And yeah. I think I love, again, at first it can be daunting, switching over or even making some of these big changes, but it really is empowering once you kind of start doing it and looking at it. And it doesn't have to be daunting. It doesn't have to be all or nothing. You start with one product, you just kind of learn, or start with one oil, even like lemon oil. It's like, how can I use what are some of all the different ways that I can use this one essential oil to benefit my life and change my life, whether that be from in your drinking water to cleaning products, to, all the different aspects, and then adding in like another one. And, it can just grow from there. And again, it doesn't have to be all or nothing, which I think that's why people kind of get scared and they don't start, because it's, well, I can't do all of that. And it's like, you don't have to, it's a journey. It's where you add and start with one thing and go from there. That's not, and then, making one change like that, like, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Good for you. That's awesome. That's enough for that. So that's great.
Right. Yeah. No, totally agree. Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing with us. I'm excited to follow the rest of your birthing journey. I know that you are planning a home birth, so I'm excited to hear the experience with that. I've been working, because I work as a birth doula, and I'm now employed by a hospital, so I miss attending home births for sure, because I haven't been to one in a while. But I work in an amazing facility that, with a group of midwives, that we have a birthing tub and we have all sorts of tools for women there. And we definitely try to create a home experience so people feel comfortable. So it's been a lot of fun, but I could watch birth stories and videos all day long. So I'm super excited to hear all about yours.
Thank you. Yeah, we're really, really excited. I'm getting very ready. So.
Yes. I feel like when I picture having a baby, since I've been at quite a few births, I'm like, I'm going to be so excited to give birth. It's once the baby's born that I'm like, okay, I don't know what to do with this now. Like,
now what? Like, now it's actually started. It's like, you think you're pregnant up until this big thing. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, like it didn't, like now it's even bigger. Like, oh, this is up to like the rest of my life. There's no ending. Right.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited to give birth. But then after that, I'm like, okay, I know nothing.
Help me.
Yes, for sure. But thank you again so much for coming on and for sharing.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. And where can people find you and follow you?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram, just Dr. Chelsea Axe, DrChelseaAxe. I'm on on Facebook. You can find me again, Dr. Chelsea Axe, I'm actually just launched a website as well, drchelseaaxe.com. So any of those places you can find me and follow along.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great conversation with Chelsea. I love just hearing different people's perspectives and getting more information from people who are doing things that I hadn't really heard of. I just recently found out about bone broth during pregnancy. I didn't know that that was like a beneficial. I've known for a while that bone broth is good for you. It boosts your immunity, but I never thought about it during pregnancy and having it be something that you add in addition to that has all those extra added benefits to it, and collagen as well. You hear a lot of people talking about collagen, but you don't really hear people talking about collagen in pregnancy. So super excited to incorporate those in the future and to just learn more things that we can do to stay healthy, to have healthy pregnancies, and just get more knowledge on what different people are doing out there and what's working for them. So I would love to hear from you guys. How many of you have tried bone broth during pregnancy or collagen? I would love to hear your stories. Again, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast if you're listening. Share it with somebody who would like to be a part of our community. Follow us on Instagram at Miraculous Mamas and the Facebook group, because we just have such an amazing group of women there. We also have our Twitter account for Miraculous Mamas that I need to work on. So, but thank you guys so much for listening. I can't wait for you to hear what comes out next week. And you guys are just awesome. I love you so much. Thank you for being a part of this community and continuing to learn and grow with me. Let me know who you want to hear from, what topics you want to hear. And I love getting stories from you guys, getting information, getting feedback from you. So thank you for being in this with me. And I hope you have an amazing week. Love you guys.